So, want to welcome everybody here. For those of you that we have not seen before, great to see you. And for those of you we've seen before, great to see you again. This is our 4-part lecture series, lecture number 2 on emotions. My brother Josh and my name is Adam. We are the Bigelson Brothers. And we have special guest today, Michiko Hayashi, all the way from Japan.
Thank you so much for coming here today. Well, thank you, Adam and Josh, for having me here.
Our pleasure. Much gratitude.
Thank you.
So what we'll do is we'll give you a little background real quick on what's going on with us and get into some Michiko experience. The thing is, we're here today basically because of these two gentlemen. There was a point in time where the great Dr. Emoto heard about our father's work, which was really neat. We didn't realize initially he tried to do what he did with the water with the blood. So he was trying to show how emotions affected us. Mm-hmm. So when he found out about our father's work and what we do with the blood, he was thrilled. Mm-hmm. So they ended up doing a lecture together in Grass Valley. I wish we had better pictures. Grass Valley, California in 2006, and it was really neat because our father did the opening lecture. He was like the opening band. And then Dr. Emoto, he did a lecture, and then together they got on stage and they had a conversation and they did some questions and answers. It was awesome. Were you there for that?
No.
You weren't there for that. Okay. So it was just such a nice experience. Dr. Emoto's work is world renowned. People understand it. It makes lots of sense. And it's a great introduction into what we do. And when Dr. Emoto read Dad's book, this is an awesome quote from him. Over the course of his 25 years of research, Dr. Bigelson has learned how to interpret images created by the blood in order to understand a person's total health. He has found that blood, like water, is a messenger of a person's emotion and consciousness. This is exciting and spectacular research, and my hope is that it will be shared with the world.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's so important for Josh and I to share our father's work. He's the only one in the world who does what he does that way, and his work needs to exist past his lifetime. And Dr. Emoto has left an awesome legacy. As Dr. Emoto rests in peace, his work is lasting more than a lifetime. So I think the two together are just an awesome, awesome combination. So I really am grateful.
Well, thank you. We're second generation.
Yes.
Passing on this information.
Second generation,
together.
yep. Our father is still around. He's alive and kicking, and if all goes well, we'll get him into this area so he can be at some of these also. He's still kicking. He kicks pretty hard.
Yes.
So a little background too, real quick, with the experience with the Bigelson Academy. Dad's one of his heroes was Edgar Cayce. And the day may yet arrive when one may take a drop of blood and view the condition of the entire physical body. Dad was an eye surgeon at first, but when he started to find out about the work of Edgar Cayce, his life totally changed. Now, the work we've done is based on several great people. Lamarck talks about symbiosis and the theory of evolution. A parasite attaches to a host, the host adapts, and we have symbiosis. Nature is symbiotic. This is a big deal for us. Good old Albert Einstein talks about the fact that quantum particles and space particles cannot be separated from the space they are in. So we are affected by our environment as much as our environment is affected by us. Chaos theory here talks about energy as complementary, energy movement. Good old Béchamp talked about microzymas. These are awesome little things that we have talked about many times we see in the blood. Josh, you can talk about the microzymas real quick.
We'll do a quick refresher for people who haven't seen this lecture before. There's these particles that are in our blood that are actually in all living things. So they're in animals, they're in plants, they're in minerals, they're in humans. And they never die. So as we die, they actually help us decompose. They go back to the earth and they regenerate new life. There's a man up in Canada who figured out a way to isolate them, and he injected them into a dead rat muscle, and 30 years later that rat muscle is still alive. So it's like the force. We look at it as our chi, our prana, our EMF. And it's all about our body's terrain. So our body's supposed to flow like a nice flowing river, but you dam up the river and now you've got a pond. And when our river becomes a pond, we start to stagnate and our pHs change. When our pHs change, those little somatids, our life force in our blood, actually change. They morph into bacteria and viruses. So we're not being invaded by the bacteria and viruses, we're creating them in our own body. And I'm definitely in a minority these days where I know the bacteria and the viruses are there to help us. They're like the body's vacuum cleaner. So the river becomes a pond, the garbage starts to accumulate, the somatids, our life force, morph into bacteria, and the bacteria go and they clean up all the debris. Now as we work through those blocks and the pond becomes a river, then the bacteria just changes back into a somatid, changes back into our life force. So there's this beautiful symphony that goes on in our body. We're not being invaded by germs. We're here living symbiotically with germs. We are trillions of germs.
We have T-shirts that say "Germs are us."
So at that point, if we don't break down the dam and the pond continues to stagnate, the bacteria change into a fungus. So we're molding while we're still alive, and that's end stage. That's what cancer is. It's actually a mold. So it's all about taking the stagnant pond and making it a nice flowing river again.
And we do a 2-hour lecture that we've done a few times here. We'll actually be at East West Bookstore on the 24th of this month doing that lecture. Tons of stuff that we've got out there video-wise too, talking all about pleomorphism and these microzymas. Big deal in your body. Now, with what Josh talked about, we look at Rudolf Steiner and his 4-body experience. This is what our lecture series is based on. Your physical body is the supportive framework for your energetic flow. Our lecture last week was all about structure, and you can see that one online if you're interested. The etheric body is the energetic body. The astral body is our emotions, and the spirit or the ego is your last one. Now, physical is everything. Everything is physical. Etheric, that's your energetic body, is where plants come into the picture. The emotional body, astral, is when the animals come into the picture, and then we come into the picture with the spirit or the ego. And what Steiner talked about is any imbalance in any one of those bodies will create an issue in all of the other bodies. So, for example, you have a physical injury, it affects your energetic flow. Your energetic flow gets affected, and all of a sudden you get a little depressed. It affects your emotions. And spiritually, well, then you question God. You may have heard me say this before if you've seen our other lectures. Energy, if your energy is low, it affects your structure. And then it affects your emotions. If you're not breathing well, you get depressed, it's going to affect your spirit also. If you've got something going on with your emotions, a big breakup happens, well, you feel energetically weak, structurally you get weak, and you start to question God again. So the idea is everything is interconnected. The lecture this week is our lecture on emotions.
There is a new movement now that says there's 5 bodies and not 4 bodies, and what they're doing is separating the spirit and the ego and making a 5th body out of it. For me, that just complicates things, but if people want to look at it as 5 bodies and separate the spirit and the ego, then that's okay.
We try to keep things as simple as possible. There's a rabbit hole, but it's all about a big picture. So to keep it simple with those 4 bodies. Now, the emotional body, dun, 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 dun. Emotions are who we are. We are emotional beings. Not too many of these reader slides, but emotions connect our spirit to the physical realm. Emotions play a key role in how, as well as whether, we process information. Emotions are chemicals the brain creates in response to sensory information. The chemical energy builds the patterns. This is our neural network. And our neural network describes our personality. The mind connects emotion with physical energies. Physical and emotional work together. Sometimes emotions in physical form become disease. Thoughts are energy. Now, as emotions play a key role in how, as whether, we process information, the idea is we talk about, or our dad would say, a mom yells at 2 children. One child cries for a week, and the other child says, oh, mom's just having a bad day. Who's going to get sick? All right, it's something we actually need to do these days. We need to lighten up a little bit. We learned at one point, when you take something personally, you make it your own problem. There's a lot of stuff going on these days, and we need to know that we're all trying to work through things together. So the best thing is to try not to take so much personally. Now, easier said than done? I hate that word, or that little phrase, right? Attitude comes from emotions, and it influences perception, how we perceive things. That's a big deal. The way in which we act out our emotional state creates a terrain that nourishes a particular disease. Our dad would talk about, tell him about the guy with the pH meters.
Oh, he'd actually insert pH meters into people's veins. He'd come in and say, oh, Adam, things are looking pretty awful. And the pHs would spike. And if he came in and said, things are looking good, then the pHs would balance out.
Stress definitely affects pH. pH is a big deal for us. If we change the emotional state, altering the actions that support it, the terrain will no longer support that disease. So it's a question of a little bit of a shift in energy. Now, as we're talking about energy, Dr. Masaru Emoto. So, and Michiko, these are questions we have for you. As Michiko has worked with Dr. Emoto, we got to meet him. Yay, we met him.
You're lucky.
We're lucky, we're thrilled, yes.
Yeah.
Dad got to have the conversations with him, which was awesome. But, things that we're curious about. Was there something that made him one day say, huh, wow?
Well, yes. He was a doctor of alternative medicine at the beginning before he started to do the research on water. And when he treated people, he cured more than 10,000 people with water using a vibrational machine we call it Hado machine. Hado means vibration. At that time, he knew that water carried information. And he said, at that time already, he said, everything is vibration. Vibration is energy. And he wanted to show what kind of vibration water was absorbing, because we're 70% water, and the earth is also 70% water. That's how he started to take water crystals so that people can see what kind of energy water is observing, what kind of energy state we are, what kind of words we are using, what kind of emotions we are. Because emotions are the ones that are causing our problems.
And that's interesting. Just real quick, a show of hands. How many of you knew that Dr. Emoto was an alternative physician? Yeah, so a few people. It's funny because it says doctor.
What kind of doctor is
I had no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, that was something very important that always I start to talk about this, because then finally people will really learn why he started to take water crystals, how water was showing the energy, and how we are using those water crystal stickers also. Everything is energy.
Water crystal stickers. We have some at the back. Yes. Yes. So it's neat. A couple things that we found. By holding the intention of peace towards water, by thinking, speaking, and acting with the intention of peace towards water, water can and will bring peace to our bodies and to the world. So he was really trying to save the world.
Yes. Well, that was his mission,
Yeah.
his life's work. And that's how he started with this children's book.
Yes.
Not many people know.
In the children's book, we're definitely going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, what people have seen, they've seen, some of you have seen this, most of you have seen this. Has anyone not seen the Emoto water crystals, just out of curiosity? A couple people? Okay, cool, awesome. So what he did was he looked at water under a microscope, and he did different things by way of playing music for water, or just even writing words on the bottle and things like that. So this is a water crystal that was exposed to the words, let's do it, like a command, do it. So not really a nice experience there, as opposed to, let's do it. Like, let's work together. Big difference in the crystals there. So really easy visualization, amazing visualization. Crystal water after exposed to you fool, and then after exposed to thank you. When was the last time you heard the word thank you? When was the last time you said the word thank you? Right? Words are definitely power. I love you.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Love and gratitude was what was decided to be the most beautiful.
The most beautiful.
Yeah, love and gratitude. This is something we need to share. So today, we're about some love and gratitude. Now, the other things that maybe you weren't aware that Dr. Emoto did.
Prayer.
And he's praying for the water. These are water ceremonies. How many water ceremonies did he do?
We can't even count how many.
Awesome.
Everywhere he went, people would ask him to offer the prayer with him. So, Europe, South Africa,
Nice.
Asian countries.
Pictures, yeah, we've got
Yeah.
pictures of him all over.
And so what was the results of the prayer?
Well, you
Before
go.
and after prayer.
Yeah.
See, this is the difference before offering the prayer.
I get chills.
This is after
Yeah, I get chills.
the prayer.
Yeah.
Our intention, our thoughts, our prayer, everything is energy. It really changes the water molecule so
What
quickly.
was the ceremony?
Oh,
What
is
did
there
he do?
a specific prayer?
At the beginning, he was sending love and gratitude to water, saying, "Thank you, water. We love you, water." But after learning from Dr. Hewlin of Ho'oponopono, how powerful it is to say, "We're sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive us. Forgive me. Thank you, and love you." So he started to combine it, and he started to say, "Water, we're sorry. Water, and please forgive us. Water, we thank you. Water, we love you." So that's how